15 years ago, my grandparents both died of cancer, and I was there for when my grandmother passed away. And I remember quite vividly, she looked at me after waking up from a dream. She turned towards me, caught my eye, and then turned towards the end of the room and started to breathe her death breaths. And I'll never forget it, because when she turned away and looked towards the end of the room, it was as if something caught her attention, as if she saw something. And I've always wondered, what is it that my grandmother saw? You see, my grandmother was a fairly religious woman. She had read the Bible and practiced Christianity all her life, and she used to tell me stories as a kid about experiences that she'd had in dreams where she'd journeyed into heaven and spoke to God and Jesus. Now, growing up, I was a scientific kid. I wanted to be an astrophysicist like Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I used to save up money to go and buy myself a brand new telescope. I was passionate about science, not religion. And so when I heard these stories, I was confronted by a tremendous crisis. I could learn about the surface features of Mars. I could understand the orbital paths of the moons of Jupiter, but I could not understand what had happened to my grandparents when they died. And that for me was a tremendous paradox. That for me was a tremendous problem that motivated me to dedicate my life to making sense out of religion. It's already been shown statistically that religious people have better mental health, that depression and anxiety can be correlated with spiritual and religious beliefs. People who are spiritual lead happier, healthier lives. The suicide rate for atheists is statistically higher than it is for religious and spiritual people. So even if you say, I'm not a religious person, I'm here to tell you religion and spirituality is affecting your life. And I happen to believe that it is a major contributing factor to the mental health crisis that we see in the United States today and across the modern world. And so if you neglect religion, if you're content to ignore spirituality, then you may find yourself at some point in life confronted with a profound existential crisis that will grind your life to a halt without any question or hesitation. This has ruined the lives of many people, many professionals, many academics who find themselves confronted with a religious experience that they simply cannot explain. And all the money, all the power, all the fame in the world is not going to change the fact that they are brought to psychological shambles by one great religious experience. My name is Westcott Loudon, and I'm the host of Enlighten Channel as well as Enlighten University. And through these videos, through these programs, like the one you're watching right now, I strive to teach people how to make sense out of religion, how to really understand religion. You see, 10 years ago, I was confronted with an experience that I simply could not explain, or rather, an experience I could explain, but only through the knowledge that I'm here sharing with you guys. And that was an experience where I was taken off into another realm. I spoke to a being of light, and I had an experience of union with the source of life, which I can only describe as the divine, as God. And so I've been motivated to share not only what it is that I've discovered, but also the path to having an experience for yourself. And that's exactly what we're teaching in Enlighten University. Our educational programs start from the very roots of religious experience, going back to the San Bushmen of the Kalahari 200,000 years ago, the earliest roots of human civilization, and we trace a line all the way up to the modern world using philosophies that have been passed down to us from figures such as Carl Gustav Jung, Joseph Campbell, and Aldous Huxley. You see, in Enlighten University, we teach a form of what's called the perennial philosophy. This is a way of making sense out of religion that puts all religions on an equal basis and focuses more so on the religious experience rather than on theology, dogma, and religious belief. Ultimately, our priority is to establish an understanding of religion that is based in observation. For those of you who are familiar with science, you'll know that science is so powerful, so authoritative, because every theory, every hypothesis has to be referenced back to experimentation. And that's exactly what we're doing in Enlighten University. We don't just simply teach you guys the ideas and the ins and the outs and all the book knowledge of how to make sense out of religion, but there are specific curriculum practices that are designed to help lead you into a religious experience of your own. And so what can you hope to get out of this program, right? Well, what it's going to do is it's going to supply for you answers to questions that maybe you've been holding on to for decades, right? It's going to provide you a sense of orientation in the world. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to, join Enlighten University and change your religious beliefs or suddenly lead a completely different life. That really depends. You may be an atheist, join Enlighten University, and remain an atheist. And that may come as a surprise to some of you, but ultimately, the motivation here is not to coerce anybody into a particular set of ideas. Rather, the motivation is to present the information so that you can make a decision for yourself. But ultimately, all of our ideas are rooted in observation and experimentation, in direct spiritual experience. And right now in our world today, there is an emergence. There is a significant emergence going on. Some term it the psychedelic revolution, where people are seeking religious experiences in places like South America, as for instance in the case of ayahuasca, or smoking DMT to journey off into the spirit world. But what's really going on is that, these things are emerging, but there is no professional class of instructors or educators who can help people and guide people through these experiences. And that's exactly what I'm hoping to construct here with Enlighten University.
Maybe you can walk me through your vision of a psychedelic therapy session.
I think number one, this is not the job of a psychiatrist. Number two, we're not sure that you even want a psychotherapist in the room. Instead, the person that we think should be in the room is an attendant, someone where you feel safe in their presence. Are they certified, medical professionals? Not necessarily, but they bring an instant rapport and an instant comfort, and what they're comfortable with is emotionally intense situations.
With this process, the patients heal themselves, and the need for antidepressants or other long-term prescription drugs could fade away.
And there's a tremendous effort going on right now to educate people so that we can be prepared for the emergence of this psychedelic phenomena, right? And I really hope that the educational material here that we're supplying through Enlighten University is going to become the de facto go-to source for individuals who are looking to guide and lead others into some kind of a psychedelic or religious experience. Because frankly, I think that the material that we're providing is the only source, the only educational source that is really going to cover this in a comprehensive way, because you're going to have people who have psychedelic experiences, who have various kinds of different religious leanings, maybe Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, atheists, if you will. And all of these people are going to come away with their own angle, their own perspective, their own interpretation. And ultimately, the material that we provide in Enlighten University is going to equip you for not only helping you to understand your own experiences, to understand religion for yourself, but also to make sense out of religion for others. And so that's really my long-term vision, my long-term goal for this program. I really want to educate you guys so that you can go out and help and benefit others as well. One of the big priorities in Enlighten University is trying to curb the spread of America's mental health crisis, trying to understand the nature of the psyche from a philosophical and spiritual perspective so that we can start to undermine some of the significant problems that confront the modern world today. Now, we at this point are roughly 50 students strong. We've had a membership running for nearly a year, and we've got a brand new, wonderful website. And so I want to take a minute to take you guys through some of the material, some of the content that we provide, so that I can familiarize you guys and answer some of your frequently asked questions. Question number one, right? How do I get involved? Well, it's pretty easy. You can join us here on YouTube. You hit the join button on the main Enlighten University page, or you can also visit our website and Enlighten-University.com. Now, when you join, you're going to sign up as part of the YouTube membership, and this is going to give you access to our entire video library. But it's at that point that I would really encourage you guys to go over to the website and to visit our course page, because there is where you're going to find our video lectures together with all of the educational materials you're going to need, as well as the quizzes that come at the end of each lecture. Each quiz that stands at the end of the lecture is usually usually about 6 to 10 questions long. They're not meant to be difficult or overly challenging. It's really there to help you as another educational tool, right? It's already been shown that people who answer a few questions after watching a video remember that information much more effectively. And it's also going to allow you to keep track of your progress in Enlighten University. Now, there isn't necessarily a rule saying that you have to start in lecture 1 and work your way up. If you're more interested in maybe some of the later material, you can feel free to check out those later lectures. But ultimately, in our programs, everything is built in such a way so that the concepts at the foundation lead into the concepts that you're going to see in later lectures. So I would encourage you guys to follow the program as it's made. Now, as I mentioned in the introduction to this video, there are practical curriculum aspects. There are things that I'm going to ask you guys to do in a very real world sense. Now, I'm going to offer for people 2 forms of graduation, 2 diplomas, if you will. There will be an academic diploma and a full diploma. And so what that means is that if you complete all of the programs in their entirety, all of the practical aspects, doing all the hands-on work, then you will fully graduate. But if you say to yourself, I'm not so much interested in seeking a religious experience for myself, I'd really just like the information, then you can answer the quizzes, make your way through the videos, and earn an academic diploma as well. Now, what is the cost associated with Enlighten University? All we charge is $20 a month, and that's just your YouTube membership fee. In addition to that, there's really nothing else. Our Discord forum is completely free, and I provide to you guys all kinds of links on the website leading to books that we use in the educational programs, but you don't necessarily need to buy the books. I'm very thorough in the lectures with including quotations so that if you're really interested in a particular subject, you'd like to study it deeper, you'd like to go further with it, then by all means you can buy the textbook, but you're not necessarily obliged. In addition to all of this, right, what are some of the other benefits that come with Enlighten University? Well, I send every member a signed copy of my book, The Way of the Dream. Now, unfortunately, due to COVID-19, there have been some delays in that area, but I am getting books out to all of the students. And so if you're a student and you're saying, where's my book? Well, don't worry, it is on the way. I've worked my way through about half the students thus far, and the rest of the books are coming. So there is a little bit of a delay on this particular perk. Unfortunately, that's beyond my control at this point, but hopefully we will get things caught up in that area real soon. In addition to that, you'll also receive a badge on YouTube. I can always see the comments of my Enlighten University students because they're highlighted with a badge right next to their name. This is also going to show up anytime we do a live feed on Enlighten University. But I would really encourage you guys to come over and join us on the Discord forum. You can find links for that on the website. It's in the Discord forum that the students and I really engage the most, and it's a great informal environment where people can talk about all kinds of various topics. I've heard some of the students say, it's so wonderful to have a group, a community online here where we can share like ideas and just talk about these things, because quite frankly, a lot of these ideas are not really accepted or considered the norm. Now, a couple things that I would ask you guys to think about before signing up for Enlighten University is to recognize that this is an educational program. It's going to take some commitment. It's going to take some discipline. I would really encourage you guys, once you sign up, set yourself a study schedule. Say to yourself, I'm going to do 1 or maybe 2 lectures a week. One of the things that always worries me is students will sign up and they'll binge watch the first 2 lectures, and then I never hear from them again, right? This is not what we want, right? This is a serious program, and it requires a serious commitment. And so if you're going to sign up for Enlighten University, I would really encourage you to seriously consider setting up a study schedule for yourself. Now, with that being said, everything is self-paced. You can complete these courses on your own at your own pace. So there's no deadlines, there's no obligations in that respect. So you're going to have to discipline yourself in order to complete all of these set activities. Now, in the long run, what's my vision for Enlighten University? What can we hope to get out of this? Well, as I mentioned, right, I really believe that there's going to be a tremendous demand for professional educators, professional individuals who can help and lead people in understanding their religious experiences. The psychedelic revolution is here. People are journeying into altered states of consciousness. They're having experiences for themselves, and there's going to be demand for individuals who can make sense out of those experiences, who can make sense out of this spiritual reality that individuals are going up and encountering. And as I mentioned, I really believe that what we're doing here in Enlighten University is going to be the de facto source for understanding just that. And so when you graduate from Enlighten University, my goal is to organize communities. So if you graduate from the programs and you say, wonderful, I've got my diploma, I've got my certificate, now what, right? Well, I hope that you will volunteer, if you're passionate about this subject, to organize a group, to organize a community in your town, in your city, where people can come in and they can watch these lectures together, they can read different materials, they can share ideas, discuss, and generally move forward with their spiritual life. And again, I can't stress it enough that this is not exclusive to any one particular religion. If you're Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, or otherwise, you're welcome to join these programs. And so I really believe that what will happen as a result of this is that we will have these organized centers where people, individuals will come. Maybe they want to come there just to learn, just to hear a little bit more. Or maybe they want to come there for a psychedelic experience. It may happen with the legalization of many of these substances that we're going to need legal and safe environments where people can explore these things. And I think that there would be no safer environment than in the environment of an Enlightened University graduate. This is an individual who understands the risks and can explain that to the person who is seeking this kind of an experience. And so I really believe that, this is going to be a comprehensive thing where, you as a student and as a graduate will be able to help individuals to understand not just psychedelic experiences, but religious experiences in large, and even dream interpretation. That's another thing we will cover. And so really, the best way to describe this is that a graduate of Enlighten University is a mystic. It is an individual who understands this higher dimension, this higher spiritual reality. And a full graduate isn't just someone who knows about it in their head, but perhaps someone who's even been there, right? This is really where I think this thing has to go. We have to understand these things. We have to make sense out of religion, and we have to bring a much more academic and intelligent, rational approach to understanding religion in the modern world today. And so I just wanted to share with you guys a few of the things that some of the students have had to say concerning Enlighten University.
Well, Enlighten University has been a fascinating course so far. I love the community of other students and being able to have these great discussions with like-minded people. Learning about the origins of religion around the world has really given me a better appreciation of my own Christian faith and a deeper understanding, in the same way that I would say that learning about science has deepened my faith. I think my favorite aspect of Westcott's teaching style is his ability to synthesize different information and to find connections between different religions that kind of demonstrate the common origin for a lot of the myths and practices that you find throughout the world, which is so fascinating, with that origin being mystical experiences that people have had with God throughout history. So I really think any seeker or anyone with a religious faith, no matter what that is, I think could get a lot out of this course.
Hi, my name's Tim. I just wanted to show you the new book that I just finished reading from Westcott. And I started his courses in Enlighten University, and they're very in-depth and very informative and easy to study also. And I really enjoy the courses.
The hardest part about getting into religion, especially for someone like me who wasn't necessarily raised religiously, is weeding yourself through a lot of dogma, a lot of cults, a lot of misinformation, and a lot of academics who think they understand these ideas, but are just way too detached from them, or maybe they don't even practice religion at all. And what blows my mind about the EU lectures and curriculum is the fact that Westcott understands and acknowledges these issues that come with being invested in these things. And I think he's done a great job at giving us both an objective and subjective point of view at the same time. And second of all, the perennialist perspective is really in play here, not favoring one religion over the other, not one opinion over the other, but instead paying attention to the ideas and the concepts, connecting the dots between various different religions, various different cultures and backgrounds. And why these concepts are so important, why we see these same ideas spread across multiple different cultures and what they mean, what they say about us as human beings, while also taking things like science and objectivity into account so that we can keep ourselves floating above water instead of drowning.
I was quite overwhelmed. I wanted to explore these different religions. I wanted to do them in a respectful way and give them the time that they deserve. But I didn't know exactly how to go about doing this. And going into Westcott's course, it condenses it in a way that it still seems respectful to the cultures they originated from. And it's also meant to be a stepping stone into furthering your own exploration and education in each of these areas. So he gives recommendations on different books to read and how to keep up with the discourse and the community. And the community is full of people that come from all different religions and spiritual beliefs, and it's been useful. I think that it's furthered myself in my spiritual exploration, and what this course and my purpose in being in this course reminds me of is that saying where you don't really know where you're going unless you know where you came from, and Enlightened University is helping me get there. I'm incredibly impressed by the information that Westcott knows, the depth of that information, how much of his time he's dedicated into learning his material before teaching it to students, and his ability to articulate his thoughts about the subject matter that he's teaching. It's engaging. He pulls from different videos and books and points students in the right direction. As far as I can see, I'll be in Enlighten University for quite some time, and I'm looking forward to the next courses in the series.
And so there you have it, guys. That is my basic intro. Again, if you're interested in signing up, I would really encourage you, hit the join link here on YouTube and navigate your way over to the website. It's very important that you guys complete some of the quizzes, that you sign up and then go in and complete quizzes, because that's how I'm going to receive your email address. Now, if you've just signed up for Enlighten University, you might be able to save me some time by emailing me at enlighten.tv1@gmail.com. Just provide me with your name, your YouTube username, as well as your mailing address, and then that way I have all the information I need to get in touch with you and to send you your copy of the book. Now, again, it's important that you guys complete the quizzes, and I would really encourage you to join the Discord community, because that is really where I stay in touch with the students mostly. Most of the communication, though, formal communication in Enlighten University is done over email. So after you sign up and complete a quiz or provide me with your contact info, make sure you check your email, because that's where I'm going to be sending messages most of the time. So if you've made it this far into the video, I really hope to see you in our programs. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.